Hello, YouTube. Hello, NFL fans. Hello, Bear fans. Got a little present for you. I'm going to do my picks. Hello. My name is Forrest Gump. I got my lucky hat. I'm going to do my picks as Forrest Gump. Hello. We're going to have a little fun. Alrighty. You know, I used to watch football all the time. Me and little Forrest. Forrest don't watch football no more. He watches dead people. Alrighty. My first pick is Thursday night. San Diego Chargers at the Denver Broncos. I think San Diego is fighting for their life. That's a bad thing when you're fighting for your life. We fought for our life in Vietnam. I don't think San Diego's going to survive. Denver's a hostile environment. And they have a man named Peyton Manning. I think Peyton Manning is good enough to beat those San Diego Chargers. I like Denver. That's all I got to say about that. The first game Sunday is the Washington Indians at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcon, I think, is a bird. Of course, everyone knows what an Indian is. The Indians were some of the first people here at the United States when we got here. Well, I think they must be old. They're not doing that well. So I'm going to have to go with the Falcon, the bird, in Atlanta. They're playing actually pretty well toward the end of the season. It might be too late, but it's for honor. The next game, I like Atlanta. That's all I got to say about that. The next game is the Chicago Bears at the Cleveland Browns. Well, Chicago, I think, was one of the first teams in the NFL. I think the owner and the creator of the Chicago Bears created the NFL in 1920. I wasn't born then. I heard about it in Illinois. So I guess that they'd be the oldest team, so they should be the best team. And Cleveland Browns had been a while too. They were around when I played football. You know, I played football. I ran. I had good shoes back then. I like Chicago to win this ball game over Cleveland. Go Bears. That's all I got to say about that. Houston Texans in Texas. I don't think I've ever been there. At the Indianapolis Colts with the horseshoe. I've been there. Houston is having a bad time this year. So I'm going to have to go with the Indianapolis Colts. They must be lucky. Lucky, get it? Luck? Duh. Well, that's all I've got to say about that. Buffalo Bills at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, I think that's in Jacksonville, Florida. Buffalo's probably glad to get out of Buffalo at this time of year with all the snow and everything. So they're probably going to take a vacation. Maybe not a vacation. Vacation means they don't come back. Well, they're just taking a little weekend off from Buffalo, and they're going to Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville Jaguars. They're playing good ball. I think they won 4 straight. Jacksonville, that's all I've got to say about that. New England Patriots. New England, I believe, is in Massachusetts. I think I went through there one time running at the Miami Dolphins. The dolphin is a fish or a mammal. Some people argue all the time. I think Jenny used to like dolphins. She talked about them once in a while. I miss Jenny. Okay, let's get back to football. New England, they have a man named Brady who had 3 very successful receivers. All of them had hands of gold. Oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong show. He don't have those receivers anymore. One's in prison, one's in the hospital, and one's in Denver. So I guess I'm going to have to go with those Dolphins. I got a Denver City. That's all I've got to say about that. Philadelphia Eagles, it's a big bird. At the Minnesota Vikings, it's real cold up in Minnesota right now. I think they play in the Dome. I think Philadelphia is a pretty good team. They're a division leader. Minnesota's having problems. I think their runner is not feeling that good. I'm going to have to go with the Philadelphia Eagles. Besides, Pennsylvania's where they make chocolates. Speaking of chocolates, I bought a box one time. Lieutenant Dan was playing in a concert in Augusta, Georgia. So I went. It took me 17 hours and 34 minutes to run there. Before I got there, I stopped at a Kroger and got me some chocolates for Lieutenant Dan. When I went to the concert, the security officer said he was going to have me removed, so I didn't get to see Lieutenant Dan. That's all I've got to say about that. I like Philadelphia over Minnesota, and that's all I've got to say about that. Seattle Seahawks, that's another bird. At the New York Giants in New York. Actually, I think they play in New Jersey. They call it New York. That's where the Super Bowl is going to be this year. A big event. It's going to be real cold this time. For the first time, I think, in the cold. I like Seattle to bounce back this week. The 49ers gave them a whooping last week. It's not good to whoop them. That's going to cost you later. Karma is a bad thing. That's all I got to say about that. I like Seattle to beat the Giants. That's all I've got to say about that. The San Francisco 49ers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay's in Florida. There's some teams in Florida, isn't there? I bet they wear new shoes in Florida. Well, San Francisco had a big win last week. They beat those Seahawks we were talking about. I don't think, maybe they got the big head, but they're going to go to Tampa. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing good ball. I like Tampa to beat those 49ers. The Buccaneers have new shoes. That's all I've got to say about that. New York Jets at the Carolina Panthers. Well, the Panthers, they lost last week. They didn't like that. The Jets, I think, will lose to Carolina. Carolina has very pretty uniforms. They're blue. Blue is nice. You need to like blue. That's all I've got to say about that. I like Carolina. That's all I've got to say about that. Kansas City Chiefs is another Indian at the Oakland Raiders. Although the Oakland Raiders are playing pretty good ball, I like Kansas City to stay on their winning streak. I think they do that in Kansas City, but this isn't Kansas City. This is Oakland. I think they call it the Black Hole. That's terrible. The Black Hole. I like the Chiefs, though, to win the ball game. That's all I've got to say about that. New Orleans. I think that's where they play the Mardi Gras, or they go to the Mardi Gras. I've never been to the Mardi Gras. At the Rams, St. Louis Rams. Well, did you know that the St. Louis Rams holds the record for consecutive division titles? I didn't know that either. But I like New Orleans to do good in the Rams because it's in a dome. They're not going to be outside. There's a man named Breeze that don't like Breeze. He don't like the Breeze. He likes to be inside. So I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints to beat the Rams. Sorry, Rams. But that's all I've got to say about that. Arizona Cardinals used to be in Chicago, Cardinals. But they're in Arizona now. At Tennessee Titans. This is an interesting game. Anybody can win this ball game. I like Tennessee Titans. There used to be Titans a long time ago that played in New York. I think they folded, or they turned into the Giants. Maybe they turned into the Giants. But I like Tennessee Titans to beat Arizona, maybe. That's all I've got to say about that. The Green Bay Packers I don't like this team. I don't like the Green Bay Packers at all. At the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dallas Cowboys was going to win this ball game pretty easy. I hope anyway. That's all I've got to say about that. Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals is a tiger, a very pretty tiger. Their uniforms are nice also. They're playing real well. They're the division leader. But they're going to Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers won 4 titles in the 1970s. You might have remembered it. If you didn't, that means you're young. But that's okay. I like Pittsburgh to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't call it an upset because Pittsburgh's at home. They usually do good against Cincinnati. I like Pittsburgh. That's all I've got to say about that. The Monday night game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Detroit Lions. The Baltimore Ravens used to be the Cleveland Browns, but this little greedy fella, he ran and sold them to Baltimore, moved everything. At Detroit, they're going to Detroit, up in the dome, where Detroit's playing very well. I like Detroit to beat Baltimore Ravens. I don't really want it to happen, but I believe it will. Okay, there's my picks for Week 15. Enjoy the NFL. Anything can happen. I can't wait to get to the Super Bowl. Who's going? Do you know? Y'all, I'm nuts. Just forget it. It's fun.